Hello entrepreneurs, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about one of the most stressful things when it comes to startups, money. Specifically money raised outside of your normal operating revenue. What everyone knows about, or what people think about in this space especially, is VC money, because that's where the biggest stories like Facebook and Google, they've all come from that kind of funding. But is it the best thing for you? Let's talk about it. And just for the sake of posterity, this is coming from someone who has yet to raise any kind of money from any one of these sources that I'm about to talk about. This is just what I've been learning from my research so far. So if things change, I will update you. So let's take a quick step back and talk about why you would want this kind of large sum of money all at once in the first place. Whether you are making revenue or not, chances are you want to have a sum of money up front because you want to create some kind of growth. That growth can be from zero to a product. That could mean that you already have some revenue, but you need some money to make hires, buy additional assets, buy additional marketing, buy improvements to what you already have, etc. And the time it would take to raise that money organically from your business, you would consider that it would take too long to get it from sort of operational revenue. So on the plus side, you can use this money to get those sorts of big upfront expenses done, or even just operational expenses at a higher level than you currently do. It affords you that option. So what are the downsides? Well, that depends on the kind of funding that you decide to get. If you go with a bank loan, it means that you have to consistently repay interest and then the principal loan amount, so whatever you borrowed in the first place. If you have a company like, say, a bakery, and you do your initial upfront expense, and then you sort of have revenue coming in pretty consistently after that, then this makes a lot of sense, because you can just repay slowly over time as your business sort of grows and sustains itself and sort of gets itself on its feet. And in fact, that's what most startups go with. VC money, however, works a bit differently. They give you money in exchange for a percentage of your startup. Now, if you're in any sort of technology field, the reason why VC funding became so popular is that banks don't really love to support software startups, mostly because there's so little physical assets for you to guarantee your loan off of. And they want to get small amounts of money, but pretty consistently. It's not a very good investment for them because it's unclear when you're going to make money, if at all, but it's certainly not going to be sort of that nice, easy, consistent money. VCs, on the other hand, they give you money now and they expect a big payoff later. Why would they do that? Well, VCs are expecting many multiples amount of the money that they invest in back in some sort of pretty compressed time frame, actually. And basically the maths for this is pretty easy. If they give you $1 million and they value your company at $5 million, for example, they in their mind are usually looking for maybe, say, like a 10x return on their money. So if they value you at $5 million, then they are going to need you to exit, aka get acquired or go public, at a value of above $50 million, so that they can make 10 times what they invested. They'll make 10 million off of the 1 million that they put in. And all of that would happen usually within under 5 years. So it's a big risk, big reward business. So how are you going to make 10x money in that less than 5-year timeline with very aggressive growth? Basically, a VC is expecting to see something like 5% month-over-month growth for the entire time that you are in business, between when they invest money in you and when you exit. So what does this mean for you, the startup? Well, basically, getting funding from a VC It's like if you started a video game at the tutorial level and then you skipped straight to level 20. There's one of two ways that this can go. Either you have skipped some of the smaller levels and you get to finish the whole game faster and you get to do everything that you need to do, or you've just skipped to level 20 and have no idea what to do, and you've sort of accelerated yourself straight out of existence and get sort of eliminated immediately. And that's what getting VC money can be like to a startup. You know, you suddenly get way more funds than you've ever been used to, than you've ever been ready for. You might not fully understand what to do with it. There might be other things that come up. You might not have the experience necessary, or your product might not be quite ready yet. Any number of things can happen that VC money is only going to exasperate to the point where you could go through all that money that you've been given and not have the results to show for it. As soon as you accept money from a VC or an angel, the clock's going to start ticking and they're going to expect to see those kinds of results, and they are going to be looking for that exit as soon as possible. Obviously, this isn't always the case. There's always going to be people who work in very different ways and have different reasons for the way that they do things. But the fact is that that's just how VCs make their money. So you should be prepared for the psychology that they tend to bring into their deal flow, how they look at startups, how they interact with startups, how they choose who to invest with, and then what the relationship is going to be like going forward. They are taking a big risk, and so they are expecting a big reward. It doesn't mean that either side is right. You just have to make sure that you are the right fit. So basically, if you think you are going to be $1 billion company very quickly, then this is a great strategy for you, because you can jumpstart that growth. You can use that capital to unlock the things that are holding you back and then go on to make that incredibly large, successful company. And make sure that you stay ahead of the competition. The thing about technology now, that the barriers are so easy to enter, it also means that anyone can enter it and become your competitor. You know, it's not that hard to find coders who can develop your apps anymore. Especially if you are the first person out there, that makes everyone else's job as competitors much easier, because they can just see what you do and copy what you do, and boom, you've got a competitor. They didn't need to go through everything to do with user experience in the first place. However, venture capital is not for all startups. You can, of course, choose to grow more slowly, and some argue more sustainably, by taking your revenue, investing it back into your company, and growing organically that way. You can also, as I mentioned before, go with a bank, go with Kickstarter, go with personal savings. There's all sorts of options. I used to think that VC money was the primary source of validation. If someone wants to invest a large amount of money with you right now, that must mean that you have a good idea. I've now come to see it a little bit differently, because this type of opportunity is simply not for everyone. Just because you don't have a company that's going to be that big that quickly does not mean that your business is not viable. If you can make consistent revenue and grow at a pace that's slower than expected for VCs, but is still consistent year over year, then you have a very viable business. In fact, most companies work this way. This is how most startups work. It's only in this technology field that this type of thinking really happens. If you aren't focused on growth at any cost, you can build a more sustainable business that has the time to explore new innovations in your product, that has time to get to know your customers really well, that has the time to become the sustainable company that you want. It also allows you time to think through decisions in an ethical way, as opposed to having the tunnel vision of just growing and everything else can fall by the wayside. But like I said, I've never done this before, so this is what I've been thinking about so far. I have more to say on this topic, but I think I'm going to leave it now and do a follow-up video next week. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, if you have any opinions, feel free to let me know. But that's it for me from now. I'll see you guys in the next video.